Okay. All right. One more time. Take it from the top. Okay. So, all right. So we were just interrupted by my system failure, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. So the personal branding, uh, you have to be intentional about about your personal branding. So personal branding is the intentional effort to shape how people perceive you, how people perceive your values, how they look into your look at your expertise. Okay, because you're saying that you're the expertise in this industry. Okay, and so that personal branding is important because it also shows your level of professionalism. So in your branding, you want to make sure that you're clear about your strengths, understanding what your strengths are, understanding what your values are, understanding what makes you stand out. What makes you stand out? So when you're thinking about how do I get people to do business with me? How do I get people to recognize that, hey, I'm the funding expert, or I'm the compliance expert, or I'm the whatever industry that you're in? How do you get people to recognize you? By showcasing your strengths, by showcasing your values, by understanding what makes you stand out. Okay? What makes you stand out? Consistency is the other thing. Okay, so you want to make sure you've got clarity, consistency, visibility, and authenticity. Okay, you want to make sure that you are authentic. So being consistent, having clarity is good, but being consistent, aligning your words and actions and your appearance with what you say and who you say you are. I look at a lot, and I bring this up all the time with using social media because most of the way that I get customers is by way of social media and referrals and of course the network and things like that. But before I had all of that, I had to build my brand and I had to be consistent about it. I had to highlight what my strengths were, and I had to make sure that my appearance, my words, and my action lined up to who it is that I say that I am and what it is that I'm branding. Okay. So I then put the question back to you all is what are you branding? Who are you branding? What are you trying to what intentional efforts are you giving to people to shape how they perceive you? What daily intentional efforts are you putting forth to control how people or influence? You may not be able to control it, but influence how people perceive you. Okay. And what I'm noticing is, especially with those of you all using social media, if I go to your pages, what are you using social media for? What are you using social media for? Just to show pictures? What are you using social media for? To make deep comments or posts?
Research.
Research? Okay, that's good. But a lot of times people, Damien, use social media just to be social. And they're not capitalizing off of that platform. The social media platform is so huge, you can reach millions of people just by engaging and creating engagement. And the good thing about social media, you can brand and you can be intentional daily in shaping how people view you. You can't be the compliance expert, the funding expert, and you're saying, hey, I'm trusting your advice, but then when I look at your social media page, you're wilding out. Or, you're selling batteries. Or you're giving some other advice for vacation packages and other things that you're just trying some stuff. Okay? You have to be consistent. You have to pick your poison and be consistent there. Show people and brand people, let them know that you are the expert. You are an expert. You're a professional. What is it that you want people to see about you? And you wonder why people aren't calling you up to do business with you. You want to create visibility. Be present. Be present. Wherever your audience is, wherever the meetings are, wherever the conferences are, just like Malik says all the time, that we should be present, right? We should be present. So visibility is important when it comes to branding. So you have to be clear, which is your clarity, know your strengths, know your values, know what makes you stand out. Secondly, you need to be consistent. You need to align your words up. Make sure that your actions and your appearance matches what you say or who you say you are. Your visibility, right? And let me say this about the appearance. Understand that you're doing business with business people. Make sure that your appearance is professional. And if you're not sure, ask someone. Make sure that it's professional, that it's clean. Okay? Make sure that you're smelling good, you're looking good. We used to do a little trick back in the day with when we would do our sales calls and go out and do meetings. Like we would do meetings, right? We'd go in person. And before I go in the door, you guys remember the oil? You can put like fragrance oil and things like that. You guys know about that fragrance oil. Being in the little tubes, they sell them like $10, and you got different little fragrances. You guys know what I'm talking about? Well,
Yep.
okay. So those little oils, we used to buy them, right? But what we would do is before we go in a meeting, we would put an X on our hand with the oil, right? Rub it in. And then when we go in and we would shake their hand, a firm shake. They don't know that we're programming them right now with smell. Because the next time he rubs his nose and rubs his face, he's going to smell his hands and remember you. You see? Branding. Little things
That's
like that.
deep.
Yeah. It's all psychology. It's all psychology. He remembers you. Okay? And even if he didn't remember your name, he remembers the scent. Hey, that's the guy that has the Dolce and Gabbana on. Right? You have to use senses. You have to use sensory. Okay? Use sensory, right? To help you to brand. Now, so you got clarity, consistency, and visibility, then you have to be authentic. Stay true to who you say you are. Stay true to being a professional, even when people rub you the wrong way. Right? So professionals are able to contain their feelings and restrain themselves from overreacting and being emotional, because there's no place for emotions in business. So in your personal branding, you have to make sure that you're clear with the picture, you're consistent, you have visibility, and you're authentic. And that executive presence then will exude so powerfully, so greatly that the people around you are going to be attracted to you. They're going to be drawn to you. You see that executive presence is the ability to project confidence. It's the ability to project credibility, and it's and leadership that inspires others to trust. Right? And it's influential. So you want to have that ability when you walk through these BNI meetings and you walk through those doors or whatever meetings you're going to, those Chamber of Commerce meetings, you want to make sure that that you're projecting confidence and letting them know that you are the one that holds the credibility. You're credible, right? That comes in your presence, walking through the door, how you look, how you walk. Why does it matter? It matters because it builds trust with clients and executives. Why does it matter? It matters because it reinforces credibility in high-stake type conversations. When you're in the midst of having high-stake conversations with individuals, believe me, they look you up and down. What's the first place that they look? Do anybody know? This is
Your
psychology.
feet,
Your feet. Very good.
your shoes, your shoes.
Your shoes. Very good. Did you guys know that the mind, when you come in the presence of people, you do it yourself. You do it all the time. You might not recognize it. You start down and go up. You say, hey, how you doing? You always look down and then you go up. Nobody ever looks up and go down. The brain goes down and up, right? So they should tell us all the time. If you didn't have, we started off in sales, they should tell us all the time. Make sure you got a good pair of shoes on. Make sure you got a nice pair of shoes on, because the mind will automatically judge you by the kind of shoes that you have on subconsciously. Okay. So that executive presence is needed to reinforce that credibility, and it establishes authority. Okay. It establishes authority in these decision-making environments. You want to make sure that you're that person, right? You're that person that has that authority, and you've got the presence that reinforces that. Okay. You have the presence that reinforces that. So it matters because it's going to build trust with your clients and executives. It reinforces credibility. It helps us establish authority, and it also sets you apart from competitors. So why does it matter? Because it's setting you apart from the competitors. You want to make sure that you're strengthening the G2 reputation and you're being set apart from those that's competing against you. Come on, it's simple. You have to stand out. Ask yourself right now, why are people not doing business with me? I'm a nice person. You know, I'm cool to get along with. What is it about me that people are not doing business with me? It's got to be something in your delivery. It has to be something in your presence. It has to be something that you are projecting. You have to have that ability to project confidence. You got to be confident. Okay? So gravitas, building an executive presence, gravitas. You all probably heard that word before. This is just the weight of character. Gravitas is the weight of character that displays confidence, decisiveness, and emotional intelligence. Gravitas is the weight of your character. Right? It's the weight of your character. To give you some examples: staying calm under pressure, speaking clearly and concisely, listening actively before you respond. We talk about that all the time. The name of the game is listening more than you speak, hearing more than you speak. So gravitas teaches us that the weight of our character should exude confidence. It should exude decisiveness. And it should give us emotional intelligence. So you have to have gravitas in your branding journey. You have to display confidence so nobody's going to rock with you. Okay? They're not going to rock with you. If you're not displaying confidence, then they're not going to rock with you. If you're not showing that you have decisiveness and you have the ability to make decisions and that you have emotional intelligence, these are the things that they're looking for. You have to speak clearly and concisely, and you have to speak with authority. Mr. Klein, I'm a compliance agent. I'm a compliance agent with G2 Global Network. I'm not a sales guy. I'm a compliance agent. I'm a global compliance agent. Yeah. And so you have to say that little things like that with authority. So present yourself in a way that matches the executive environments that you're in. Present yourself in a way that matches that executive environment that you're entering into. All right. So executive presence is not one thing. It's the impact of many small things done consistently well. Executive presence is not just one thing. It's the impact of many small things done consistently well. So when you're talking about an executive presence, you're talking about looking and feeling like an executive. Professional attire that matches the environment. Strong posture, right? Steady eye contact and controlled gesture. You guys know that seasoned salespeople that understand psychology and body language, they look for all these little things, and they don't do it like consciously. They're just trained in it. They train to see your eyes, right? I always tell people the eyes say what the mouth refuses to say. Your eyes are always going to speak and say what the mouth refuses to say. So we look at the eyes. So having a strong posture and having strong eye contact, especially when you're shaking a hand and you're having a conversation, you should never be looking down. You should never be looking to the side. You should have strong eye contact in your conversation, in your communication, when you're speaking with other people, especially other people of authority. The last thing you want to do is let someone win the stare down, for lack of better words. Damon, you're a boxing trainer, right? Part of the the boxing world is intimidation, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The stare down right in the beginning. Y'all gotta go and stare at that eye contact, because if you can break the person's eye contact, you can snatch their soul right out of them just through their eyes. Right? So you want to make sure that your eye contact is strong and your posture is strong. You also want to make sure that you're prepared. Know your material. Know the material, so you can speak with authority. Part of the problem is you guys are trying to speak, and sometimes you're speaking and not knowing what you're saying. So even if you do have a sense of authority in your speaking posture, the lack of knowledge doesn't match. Does that make sense?
Yep.
You have to have the knowledge to match the posture. So Preparation is key. Composure is key. Responding thoughtfully rather than reacting emotionally is key. Empathy, acknowledging the others' viewpoints and respecting their viewpoints. These are all things that you have to remember and practice when you're branding yourself, when you're walking in these rooms, when you're reading the room. You want to make sure that you're able to read the room. One of the skills that you have to learn is the skill of observation. Okay, observing nonverbal cues. So why? So you can adapt your communication effectively. Learning how to read the room. A lot of people don't know how to read the room. You got to know about signs of engagement, right? You got to know about signs of disinterest. You got to know about signs of skepticism. Signs of engagement, nodding your head while you're talking, leaning in, showing interest in what you're saying. If I'm having a conversation, you start leaning in, that means I'm drawing you closer to me, right? Someone taking notes. Those are signs of engagement. What about someone speaking to you with their arms crossed? Lack of eye contact. And you're speaking to them, they're checking their phones. What does that mean? Disinterest. They're not interested in what you're saying. See, these are all body signs and body languages. You know when somebody is skeptical, they're raising their eyebrows, they're tightening up their lips, they're leaning back when you're talking to them. So you have to know these signs when you read in a room. Why? So you can adjust your delivery. So you can adjust your tone. This is why when you're calling people on the phone, you don't always have to say, hey, I'm not a salesperson. But because when you're able to read the room, it may not necessarily be needed to say that. They might be very receptive in the beginning. Just one thing about reading a room in person is it's another technique in learning how to read the room over the phone. It's a lot harder, right? You can't see anything. You can't see how they're looking at you. You can't see if they're rolling their eyes. You can't see if they're not interested. You can't see, you can't see anything. So
You have to listen.
You have to listen, correct. You have to listen. But for those of you all that's going to be going inside these rooms, you need to know the signs of engagement. You need to know the signs of disinterest. You need to know the signs of being skeptical. Body language. So you have to market yourself effectively. Develop a professional online presence, guys. If you don't have it, you need to make sure you got your LinkedIn profile, you got your industry insights. You want to make sure all your pages is looking nice. If you go to any one of my pages, you know exactly what I do for a living. And you know exactly what I'm about. I'm about my company. I'm about my family. That's what my pages is going to show you. You're not going to ever hear me talk about politics on there. You're not going to see me talk about religion. I'm very careful about religion. I don't even put certain topics about anything that's controversial. I won't talk about it. Okay? You have to network intentionally. Engage with executives and decision makers in your network. You have to be intentional about that. Look for decision makers and executives to network with. Be specific, be intentional. Who are you trying to go and target? Who are you targeting? Because think about it this way, the more people that you have that's in leadership positions that you've networked with, the better it is the better you are with pushing your wellness program. Because you have all the people already, in your pocket, for lack of better words. Okay. Share your expertise through thought leadership, articles and presentations, right? Share your expertise. You have to be an expert when you're marketing yourself. You want to make sure that you build a reputation as a trusted advisor, not just a salesperson. You do not want to be known as a salesperson. You want to be known as a trusted advisor. Okay? You want to be known as a trusted advisor. So don't just try to build a reputation as a salesperson. Trusted advisor, okay? And building credibility and confidence. Do your homework. Be prepared. For every client meeting, you want to make sure that you're prepared. We do that now, even before we make the phone calls. I go on their website, look at a little bit about their company, about us, so I can know a little bit about that company before I start speaking with them. I want some talking points. I want to be able to ask about their company and show interest in their company. But I can't show interest in their company if I don't know anything about the company. So do your homework on each one of these companies that you're dealing with, anyone that you're speaking with, just do your homework. Okay? Deliver consistently. Follow up on your promises. Follow through on your promises. Seek feedback. And then grow from that feedback. This is one of the reasons why I'm always asking you all, is there anything that I can do better? Anything that the network can do better? I know that we're not perfect and we're going through growing phases. I seek feedback so we can fix whatever is wrong. Okay? We want to make sure that we're fixing what's wrong and that we're building on our strengths. We're building on our strength and we're perfecting our flaws. This is why I always tell you guys, stay encouraged, keep going, don't never stop, no matter what's going on, don't stop. Because you're growing, we're growing, right? Confidence is built by preparing and preparation and practice. And practice. Confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong. Don't be afraid to be wrong. You're not right all the time. I'm not right all the time. And when you're at a point where people can't tell you anything or you're emotional every time someone either tries to correct you or you don't want to really, take the advice and things like that, and you think maybe you know better, then you had a ceiling. You've created a ceiling in your life. So you cannot fear being wrong. Okay? So confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing being wrong. So you're building credibility. You're building credibility. And that's what you all have to build, credibility. You want to make sure when you walk in the room, you know what you're talking about. You look the part. Your posture is good. You're using eye-to-eye contact. You're giving firm shakes for the men. Right? Did you know that in a handshake, I can tell whether or not you're recessive or dominant? Where's all my salespeople that know that? Who knows who knows about recessive and dominance? Just and telling it from the handshake.
I do.
Who's that say they do?
I do.
Okay, what
Larcy.
I'll say that.
so how do you know that you okay? So tell me this. You walk in the room and shake a person's hand, right? Imagine shaking their hand. How do you know whether or not they're dominant?
Firm grip.
The squeeze.
No,
The
no,
grip.
If they look you in the
Yeah.
eye,
no,
Yeah.
no, no. Firm
The
grip
grip.
is fine, but that's not it.
who decides to let go first?
Say it again.
Who decides to let go or release first?
No, they're gonna turn their hand.
Eye contact.
No, they're gonna turn their hand. So when you shake the hand, They turn it, right? When you shake your hand, think about it. They turn their hand. They turn their hand.
Oh,
You
it's
know,
like a twist.
a twist, right? So the dominant person's hand is always on top, recessive is at the bottom.
That's right.
So this is why when you shake hands, you shake right down firm in the middle. So you'll never let them know whether you're dominant or recessive. But if see, this is psychology stuff, guys. But if they show you that they're dominant through the handshake, you know right then and there, right, to allow them to operate in their frequency, in their role. If they show you in their handshake that they're recessive, because now your hand is going to be at the bottom and theirs is going to be kind of, like at the top, right? I'm sorry, theirs is going to be at the bottom and yours is going to be at the top, and them being recessive. Now you know to be dominant. See, this is how you control conversations. But the skilled people, skilled sales professionals that's been trained and highly trained know this stuff. The average consumers don't know this, so they don't know what's happening to them when they're being sold. They don't know what's happening to them when they're coming through the door. Certain ways that you sit, certain ways that you talk, certain handshakes, certain ways that you keep your arms. Okay. So this is all stuff that we can learn down the line, but it's just body language. It's body language. This is how you learn how to read the room. This is just psychology and understanding how the mind works in sales. Okay. So body language and nonverbal communications. Stand tall. Your posture is important. Stand tall and show confidence. Okay. Eye contact is important because it shows them that they can trust you, right? And it shows that you engage and that you engage with what they're saying or they're engaged with what you're saying. A firm handshake, not overpowering. Use open hand movements to show transparency, right? Respect the boundaries and maintain professionalism. These are all things that matters when you're branding yourself and you're showing yourself as a strong executive. You're giving that executive presence. Your posture must be strong. Your eye contact needs to be strong. Your handshake should be firm. Use open-handed movements and show transparency, right? Respect the boundaries and maintain that professionalism. Don't talk about, things like politics and religions and things that's, controversial. That's later down the line. You want to respect people's opinions, respect their feelings, and respect their boundaries. So body language and nonverbal communication is key. Okay? So reading the rooms, right? Remember I just talked about that, just reading these rooms, the signs of engagement, knowing the signs of disinterest, signs of skepticism, all right? So when you learn those things, and you read the room and you see the signs of engagement, whether they're nodding their head, leaning in, taking notes, things like that, or if you see them crossing their arms, lacking the eye contact or checking their phone when you're speaking to them and they're showing disinterest, or if they're showing themselves to being skeptical, right? All these things is not to scare you or to discourage you, but it's to have you to adjust your delivery. It's so you can know which direction to go, right? If they're engaged and nodding their head, you want to continue to keep doing what you're doing and dive it into your program. All right. If they're showing disinterest, you want to make sure what it is that they're not interested in. Get them talking about themselves. What people like to do the most is do what? Talk about themselves. That's why you ask open-ended questions, right? You want to get them talking about themselves, talk about their accomplishment. People want to brag about themselves, brag about their company. They want to brag about their accomplishment. Okay? So, and when you get those signs of them being skeptical, you want to make sure that you adjust your delivery, make sure you adjust your tone, and adjust that body language accordingly to whatever it is that they're giving you. Okay? So whatever it is that they're giving you, you have to adjust your delivery and adjust your tone. We talk about that tone all the time. All right. So here's some practical steps for you all before we leave real quick. Is number one, to create a signature introduction. Make sure that you have a signature introduction that's pertinent to you. Stop trying to figure out what you're going to say and practice what you're going to say to everybody. You're going to have one signature introduction. And it's going to be the same signature introduction for everybody, for everyone. So create a signature introduction that belongs to you. And that signature introduction has to convey credibility. Number two, you want to make sure that you practice the executive level communication. You want to be clear, concise, and confident. Role play, guys. You continue to keep role playing. Role play client scenarios to refine that presence. Role playing. Make sure that you're leveraging G2's mission and reputation as part of your professional brand story. Okay? Use that. Use the mission. Use our reputation. This is why it's important that G2 Global build a strong reputation. And each one of you all that comes, that's part of our family, and you guys are part of the Global's compliance team. But what about our ambassadors and the brokers and things of that nature? Use our reputation. That's why it's important that we build a credible reputation. When people hear G2 Global Network, we want people to hear positive messages or positive reinforcement from what they've heard from G2 Global Network or their experiences with G2 Global Network. We want to make sure that we are intentional about building our reputation, because that's what's going to get us and you across the hurdle. The more people that know about G2 Global Network and what we're doing, it's better for you. And that reputation can follow you. Oh, okay, they're with G2 Global Network. That's a good company. And it takes all of us to help to build that image. Okay? So here's some final takeaways. Personal branding is your professional reputation. And executive presence is your ability to influence and inspire the ones in your circle or the ones that you encounter. And success comes from confidence, credibility, and consistency. Okay? So personal branding is your professional reputation. Executive presence is your ability to influence and to inspire. And success comes from confidence, credibility, and consistency. All right? So people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Okay? So remember that personal branding and executive presence is not just about being someone that you're not. Okay, that's not what it's about. It's about amplifying the best version of who you are. It's about amplifying the best version of who you are. So when you show clarity in your values and you show consistency in your actions and authenticity in your communication and gravitas, remember that word, gravitas, as a leader and a professional, you not only elevate yourself, but you inspire others and you inspire confidence in everyone that's around you. All right. And that's the essence that you want to give off when you are in any type of crowd or any type of circle. You want to give off confidence to everyone that's around you. Okay. So remember that personal branding is your professional reputation. That's your reputation. Okay. So if people are not doing business with you, if you're not getting clients, you're not closing deals, you might want to look at your professional reputation. I get calls in with deals every day to the point where it becomes a headache. Okay. But that's because of my professional reputation. Now I guess that's the downside to it. Sometimes you start getting overloaded with stuff, right? But your executive presence is your ability to influence and inspire trust in others. All right. So just remember, success comes from confidence, credibility, and consistency. Keep doing it over and over and over. Keep showing up over and over and over. Keep showing up and keep getting better every time you show up. That's the thing. Keep getting better every time you show up. Okay. Every time you show up, you keep getting better. Okay. Keep getting better every time you show up. All right. So that's my training for today. That's my training for the day. We're talking about professional branding. Take this information, you all. Take this information and run with it. Run with it. You're welcome, Kaya. Run with it. Okay? You got to take what we're saying and what I'm saying and teaching and let it be part of your everyday presence and execute all the training that you guys are getting. It means nothing if we don't execute. Okay, it means nothing if we don't execute. Okay, all it is just training. Then if you're not executing and you're not going out there utilizing what you learn, it's just sitting knowledge in your head. But when I tell you guys that I'm giving you sales training that that people don't have and don't receive, this is good sales training that you can take, and it gets deeper than this, but this is good basic sales training that you can take in any industry with any product and use it. You can sell anything with being a consultative seller. You can sell anything with creating an executive presence and a great branding. You can sell anything. Think about some of them crappy songs and albums that you hear on the radio, and you know these songs suck. But because of reputation and then continue to keep repeating it, it gets to be catchy. Now you popping your fingers to a song that you like, this song is the dumbest song in the world, but you're doing like this now. Right? That's because of consistency and repetition. And that's the same thing that you have to have. You have to have consistency and repetition, okay? This is what radio stations do, guys. Radio stations, think about what radio stations do. All radio stations do is play songs over and over and over and over. And because of the music, in between there, they have commercials, right? But it's that what they're really selling is advertisement. Radio stations really sell advertisement. That's how they get their listeners, by way of the songs. But they get their sponsors by way of people buying ads and spots on the air. That's how they make their money. Okay? So the same thing that you have to do is use that same concept and just put your program on repeat. Put your marketing on repeat. After a while, everyone's going to know that Larcia has funding, or Larcia has a Wellness Plus program. Everyone's going to know after a while that Dave Rose is the man when it comes to federal tax strategies and wellness programs or funding programs or whatever it is, because he strategically has been marketing and branding himself as a professional and an expert over and over and over and over and over. So you imagine that for years that people on my page have been seeing nothing but credit and financial stuff come from me. For years, nothing different. So here people are still coming around 20 years later and like, man, Mo, you still doing the same thing? Yeah. That's what I do. Are you ready to shop with me? I'm still in the same field, right? So be consistent in your marketing. Be consistent in what it is that you do. If this is what you're doing, let everybody know this is what you're doing. If you're part of G2 Global Network, let everyone know what you're doing. Okay? Let everyone know what you're doing. All right? You still have options to, and here's another thing. Some of you all are still turning in funding deals. You guys still know you still have access to funding. You might come across some deals, and there's people on this call right now that's getting paid from funding deals too. You might not make anything this month in compliance, but you may know a development deal, someone needs fix and flip money, or whatever it is that you still have it in your network. They need private money, they need some credit help, things like that. You have to leverage what's in your network. You might not make any money off of being a GCA today, and you're building up there, but you need to make money right now. Move some of the credit programs, move some of the financial programs, the loans, the lending. That's what I do. Right? So you have to know what you have in your arsenal. Okay? You have to know what you have in your arsenal. All right. That's it for me. That's it for me. Did anybody have any questions? Malik, you have anything you want to add to this call? Any questions?
I got one thing I want to clear up.
Sure.
Because tonight was supposed to be 7 o'clock, but I guess everybody didn't know that from here.
Yes.
From here on, it was supposed to be 7.
Yes. So all the trainings are at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, 7 p.m. No more 8 o'clocks or anything like that. Everything's at 7. All right, everything's at 7. Okay. Listen, on Friday, my mindset development call is going to be hot this Friday. My subject this Friday is I hope you fail. I hope you fail. I hope you fail. I want you all to show up on this Friday. We're going to talk about setbacks turning into triumphs and energy conversion, and learning how to accept failure, as part of success and not a setback. So be on the call this Friday, tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and join us for our mindset development call. I appreciate you all joining this call today. And just as I always say, keep striving to keep going higher. And I will see each and every one of you guys at the top. Wings up.
Thank you, Mo. Excellent
Wings
training.
up.
Thank you, Mo.
Wings up. Wings up.
Wings up.
Wings up. Wings up, everyone.
Wings
What's
up.
up?
Wings up.
Have a good night,
What-
everyone.
Wings up.
Wings up.
Good
Mom.
night.
Good night.
Night.
Yes,
Good
sir.
night, Miss Ophelia.
Okay, good night, babe. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Okay.
Good morning, good night.